Greetings, geeks. Welcome to Low Earth Orbit. I'm Rob Commander Takamulta. This is another exciting episode of Geeks in Space, episode 409, in fact, and I am here today with two fine friends, gentlemen, Mr. Chris DeBona.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Mr. Rob Roseboom.
Greetings.
How's the arm, Chris?
You know, I don't know that our listeners care, but you care, so I'm going to tell you. It's fine. You know, could be better, could be worse. I'm on track to heal in the time frame in which would allow me to ski again in February. So, you know, I can move it around. You know, I'm supposed to move it around. It's very exciting. It's like a dancing arm. There is a problem. It was, I didn't authorize the use of anyone else's arm pieces, skin, whatever, but I think that it's possessed. They must have used some cadaver, ligament or something. And
all right, Rob, what was the movie where that happened?
It wants to murder somebody. So
Body Parts?
There's been a couple like this, right?
There's a couple movies called The Hand that deal with that sort of thing. There's one where someone gets eyes from a serial killer. There's many movies about
One
that.
I remember, I think, is Body Parts. Is that? Am I thinking right?
So
Sure.
I think that mine came from a famous tennis player, and so the movie will be called Tennis Elbow.
Whoa.
All right. We've got the most important thing, which is that I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but we live in a multiverse, but we don't anymore.
Wait, what?
After the events of the CWs Crisis on Infinite Earths, we now live in a unified multiverse where if you need to, Rob, you can just get in your car, drive to Star City, meet the Flash, or
Any number of Flashes.
go to wherever Supergirl lives, and you can live there and meet Supergirl because now they all live in the same planet.
Yep.
So
we can go and hang out with the Doom Patrol, whoever we want.
Well, that was actually
Doom Patrol was in there too.
They did. They put in Doom Patrol, and they did it with just the nicest little cameo. They had them all dancing. That's just great for Doom Patrol. It's perfect.
Yeah,
but
now that it's all done, I'm going to watch it all just like in one big, marathon.
I don't know that I can bring myself to watch all 5 episodes again. It wasn't that good.
Oh, but there's so many. You know my love of the Flash. Even the new Flash, Ezra Miller. I mean, I pasted a link to his appearance.
It's already on Taco Zone, and we'll just go ahead and spoil that. But the CW Flash met the Justice League Flash, and that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
There was one roster of superheroes which had, I don't remember if it's Power Girl,
Star Child,
but there was a roster of superheroes that, as far as I know, didn't have any casting. So I don't know if that's if they've got a backdoor spinoff. But there was also a shot that looked like it was maybe the Green Lantern Corps.
Wow. Yeah, they had the Green Lantern in there for sure. I don't know who that giant robot and assorted people were supposed to be. I was trying to figure that out.
Press Button and who's the other guy that he would go around with? Although, do they own 2000 AD? I guess they don't. I wonder who has rights to 2000 AD. Characters. Your Strontium Dogs, your Judge Dreads, your Press Button and some.
Actual Press Button on the Laser Eraser. That was
Laser Eraser. Thank you.
They also, unsurprisingly, had their finale set up the Justice League for realsies this time. And, they made it look like the frickin' Justice League of old. And the background music, they played the Super theme during that
really?
sequence of music, yeah.
Did you catch that Gleek was there?
And Gleek. They didn't show him.
Gleek. Wow.
They didn't show him, but he's loose.
Yeah.
So I really hoping that Gleek and Mitzelplix can really mess up the Justice League for next year's crossover.
I hope that Gleek is consumed in some horrible bushmeat accident.
That seems normal for him, like just a typical day.
Just a day, man. Just a day.
We have so many things on Taco Zone today. I think on Tuesday we had 2, and I think today we have 8.
We have 25 billion. So Build-A-Bear has Baby Yodas coming.
It's about time.
Expect your local mall to be mobbed.
I don't know that we have a Build-A-Bear. Rob, is there one in Chelsea?
I think so, yeah. There was that one right across from my old house.
I'm sorry.
There was one that was
the idea that there isn't a Build-A-Bear in Michigan. Okay, so there's one in Novi. There's one in Troy. There's one in Auburn Hills.
Novi. Hello, Californian.
Whatever, man. It's in Nova Scotia, right?
You mean Nova Scotia?
And one in Granville. I'm just seeing a smear of Build-A-Bear.
All right. So I'm not worried about missing out on the Build-A-Bear.
Yes.
Because I have a feeling that at least one member of my household is going to go need to build a Baby Yoda, although I don't know what the customization options would be. I thought that Build-A-Bear was all about customizing it, and I don't know, except for like choosing Baby Yoda's lightsaber color, I don't know what you really do with that. Let's see. So age 47 is the worst.
That's what I hear. I look forward to it.
I passed it, so I guess I did okay.
I don't like the idea of that because it really does.
47.3. How old are you two?
43.
46.
46. So you got a couple years. Maybe I should like take out insurance on y'all.
That's true. Or maybe we should be taking it out on you, or like some sort of the opposite of insurance. Can I short Chris DeBona?
Oh man, I wish you could. You know, God, I'd make so much money picking up the options on the other side. You know,
you can't short sell yourself. That's against.
Oh, I'm sorry. Goldman Sachs has proven you can short sell yourself.
That's true. Let's see.
I don't know. I mean, so I admit I didn't read the paper. So was the paper actually useful? Or was it just crap? Like 4 people were interviewed or whatever.
No.
Like, they look like they're about 47, you know?
I didn't dig through the abstract, but from the what was reported on it, it looked to be about as official as any sociological nonsense that comes out daily for you to click on.
Oh, by the way, are you aware that chocolate, wine, and beer either make you healthier or less healthy depending on the time of day, the moon phase, the headline of the story you're reading, and whether or not Gleek is running amok in the Justice League?
Do you think the Gleek would taste good with like mustard? I don't know. I've never had it. I never want it. It sounds horrible and just inhumane.
Okay, so
primate pain.
Here's a discussion topic then. Of comic book animal type characters. I'm not like talking like I don't want to go eat like a human. Of the animal type characters, like you can eat King Shark. Who would be tasty?
You know, I think Rocket Raccoon would be pretty gamey, you know.
I don't want to eat Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah. Plus his genetics are all changed, so you'd probably get cancer.
It probably tastes terrible, you know.
Do they have to be animals or can we do plants?
What about
fish? If you want to eat Swamp Thing, I don't know if that's vegan.
Well, I was just thinking, I bet the center of Groot is very tender, like a bamboo shoot.
Yeah, right. You know. Yeah, Groot would be pretty all right, especially if he has any fruiting bodies. Like, you know.
What do you think a fruiting body of Groot tastes like?
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that you know. So there are certain trees that are only reproduce via megafauna, consuming their fruiting bodies, and they poop them out. And they poop them out with extra fertilizer, right? So they grow right there where they lay, right? So I always sort of thought of Groot as like a megafauna distributed organism, even though he himself can move around, right? So it kind of screws it up. But
plus, then if you eat Groot, you have the bonus of him saying "I am Groot" the entire time you're consuming him.
When your stomach rumbles, it already sounds like they were, you know. It's like
Groot.
Who else? What other animal superheroes are there? Let's see.
Well, Howard the Duck is kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, but you know he smokes a lot, so he's like a smoked duck. But you know, smoked duck is good, you know, so maybe that can be all right.
Yeah, but they're not smoked with cigars. You know,
maybe if you made a bone broth from Skeletor.
All right. Well, I would suggest that if any of you think of any other characters that would be delicious from comic book mythos, that we just chime in on those for the next 10 minutes.
Skeletor bone broth. I'm going to stick with that.
Ooh, you could make bone broth out of Skeletor, though he's human-ish.
Is he?
I'll get you, He-Man!
Right, I mean,
God, I hated He-Man so much.
you get into the problems like, I'm trying to think of animal-based superheroes or villains. They're all kind of human-looking, so, like, you couldn't eat cheetah, right?
So if Spider-Man were more spider than man, he'd probably taste like lobster.
Yeah.
Well, and like those are humans. They're humans with mutated powers. I guess I'm looking for an animal that would retain the essence of deliciousness. Maybe we should go the other direction. And we should find foods that are delicious, and then we should figure out like superheroes based on them. Like I would really like to have foie gras. So let's invent a hero based on foie gras, and then eat that.
Well, clearly spider ham, right? We could have spider ham bacon.
Oh, yep.
I'm going through the jokey things here. Peter Porker. Because then there were Daredevil, so Goose Rider, and let's see, what else we got?
I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some low-hanging fruit that we're just not catching here.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily eat Squirrel Girl.
I would.
But she could produce unlimited squirrels. So.
That's true. Although she loves squirrels, and she would not bring you squirrels to eat them because they are her animal friends.
Yeah, but time is tough. We'll see what happens.
So I'm fundamentally against eating primate meat. So like ape, and I couldn't eat a dog, and there's tons of super dogs.
You're not gonna eat crypto?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna eat a dog, you probably go with Lockjaw, right? Because he's so big.
Yeah.
I did have the king shark fin soup the last time that I ate at the restaurant. It was pretty good, but I hope
you can have shark fin soup, even king shark.
Speaking of crypto, Rob, did you say that a rapper now has a crypto coin?
I didn't say it, but it's true. It's not just a crypto coin either. Akon is bought a huge plot of land in Senegal and is creating a city there, a crypto city, that all economic trade within the city is done in his cryptocurrency, Akon coin. And the government of Senegal is like, yes, please come here, give us some money, start your city, we'll let you do whatever. So,
and then we'll kick you out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I mean, it doesn't seem any more or less weird than the kind of experiments that are happening in China, right? Where they just like, all right, let's build a whole city to do this, whatever this is.
Sure, but
in that part, this is to show that their economy is booming, and their middle class is growing, even though it's kind of stagnating.
Okay, I'm just gonna. This is not going to be successful. I'm gonna go out on a limb and declare this a disaster zone ahead of time. It's going to be the fire festival of cities in Senegal. There's just going to be starving people trying to pass you their crypto wallet, IDs, and just dying on the streets.
I'm just wondering if it's going to be more of like a failed amusement park or sort of a Jonestown thing. Will this eventually turn into a cult?
I think it's going to be like Kangaroo Island. It's going to be devoid of life the second anything important happens, like a fire or like a big rainstorm or an especially gusty wind. It'll just be over. And
when that happens,
all organisms will be
officially drop the mic, and that's how you know that it's time to leave.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Mayor Akon has dropped the mic.
Instead of a normal emergency alert system, they just have a hologram of him dropping the mic, and everyone runs.
Yeah, him freestyling the apocalypse.
We have the technology available to us to project the gigantic hologram from the end of Silicon Valley. So maybe what you need is the gigantic hologram of Akon at the center of Akonville, and he like gives preachings to the citizens every day.
Yeah,
I'm all in.
It does give me hope for one day starting my own city, though. So
that's your long-term goal?
Well, I want to go with a city. Maybe I'd start with a village first and see how that goes. Work my way up to a city.
I got a medium-sized house and a family of 4, and I'm pretty much beyond what I'm capable of handling. So I'm going to go ahead and let you be the mayor of the city. I'll buy a nice plot on the wrong side of the tracks. How about that?
Yeah, the mayor doesn't do all the work anyway. He delegates. That's all you got to do. You just delegate.
Okay, so in terms of like weird little fun stories, there was a dude who just wrote up a nice little write-up on how to actually download data from weather satellites, which is actually kind of cool. If you want to know how to do that, and it's actually not that hard to do in 2020. The like little USB antenna readers and stuff. That made me happy. Doolittle reviews are coming in. My title for Taco Zone was Doolittle Doesn't, because apparently it's garbage. I got to tell you, I am not shocked. I have seen the trailer for Doolittle ahead of like 4 movies now, and every time I can't help but just dying a little inside. It looks so bad.
Well, I wasn't much a fan of the last remake either. So
I'm not a Doolittle fan in the slightest. I couldn't begin to give a care, but the music, like if you watch the trailer, the scoring behind it has so much epicness built into the musical score that you would not think that this is this is not a movie about a doctor who like talks to hippos and stuff. Like, it's a stupid idea for a movie. Embrace that and have fun, or do at your own peril. Rob or Debona, you posted the first review I've seen of somebody who actually saw an episode of Picard.
Yeah, I follow one of the writers, Holly Amos, and she was at the premiere where they showed the first 3 episodes.
Hold on, is she actually wearing a Starfleet uniform shirt in her thumbnail picture?
Yeah, no, she's
all right.
She works for Paramount. I mean, there's people who are deep. So at Disney, they have this group called the Character's Voice, where suppose you want to use Ariel in something, you go to the Character's Voice group and you say, would Ariel say this? What would Ariel do in this situation? She's basically Character's Voice now, is my impression of her work at Paramount for a lot of these characters in Star Trek, historically.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that sounds like an amazing.
And I think she may have left Paramount and now works directly for Roddenberry. But anyway, long and short of it, she went to the premiere. She was there for the first 3 episodes, which they showed there. And you can see her review right there. She's like, go see it. Of course, she's going to like it, right?
Yeah.
But, what is Picard verse if not, fan service, But they also renamed the Piccadilly station Piccadilly. So I guess the premiere was probably over there in Leicester Square. So there you go.
Well, that comes out on Monday.
Tuesday, I thought. Is it Tuesday or Monday?
I don't know. So hopefully we'll have a chance to see it before next episode.
Definitely before Thursday. So,
Yeah. I thought it came out on the 20th, but that's a Monday, and that's weird. Streaming shows don't usually come out on Mondays.
Yeah, it'll be on CBS All Access Go Now Plus.
Or perhaps on a Plex server somewhere.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. Cheeto Dust has a real name now?
What's it called?
Cheadle.
Cheadle. Is it from Don Cheadle? Is it really the real source of the Cheadle family fortune?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. But
hey, come on! Don't Cheadle me out of this.
I don't know. The name's fine. I think they could have come up with a better name for it, but
right.
Fetal it is.
Well, they couldn't say actual cheese, so they had to avoid having all the letters.
Yeah.
And it's kind of curdled chemical product, right? So curdle plus cheese is Cheadle, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know we're well beyond the time when Sniglets were popular, so the people coming up with them perhaps aren't as good as they used to be, say in the 80s, but Fetal it is.
Mozilla laying off 70 people. I didn't realize they had 1,000 people working for Mozilla. I thought it was like a couple hundred. I assume that's pretty much all Sergey money at this point.
What's that? It's all what
I pretty much assume that Mozilla is all Sergey money.
No. So they 91% of their revenue comes from the search deal. the rev share deal. And they have 1,000 employees and they're laying off 70. So, the thing about Mozilla, I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking. I hope they recover. That's all. I mean, I work for Google. I love working here, and I love Chrome, and I use it all the time. But Firefox is solid. I mean, Firefox is a big deal. It just, I just think they have so many odd efforts, and unfortunately, you get to a point where you can't just entertain everyone's pet project anymore.
I feel like, what it comes down to now is that every browser is basically based on the same code base. So honestly, what's the point of building a competing browser unless you're gonna really compete? And you can't really even do that anymore because the powers that be decide, oh, we're done with cookies, we're gonna get rid of that standard. Oh, we're done with whatever standards that we don't like, and you can make the case that an old standard is deprecated and not applicable anymore. It's a pain in the butt, but that is just another bullet item that you put onto a competing browser, thus further guaranteeing that there will never be a legitimate competitor in the space.
It's almost like they designed it that way.
Almost.
Well, it's funny because they've always been sort of trapped between a rock and a hard place idealistically. Like when they adopted the encrypted media extensions, no one liked it, but at the same time, if you don't play Netflix, no one's going to use your browser.
That's right.
And you see this, people will use Firefox for as much as they can, and then they'll hop over to Chrome for Spotify or for Netflix or something. And it's like, I have a lot of sympathy because ostensibly at their core, they're an idealistic organization, and they've had to absolutely compromise or just be completely wiped off the map.
Yeah.
Right, by these demands by their users to work, right? And so they backed multimedia extensions and they got roasted for it. And so it's a funny place. And they spent, so this is the thing that kills me. So they had this thing called the Glass Museum in San Francisco. It was like a pop-up that was supposed to expose how your data is being used on the internet, which is great. Their whole thing is privacy, right? But it probably cost them $5 to $7 million for this 2-3 month long pop-up. And I'm like, that's half the people you're laying off, their salaries. And it's like,
it's hard when you're a nonprofit, I suppose.
Well, they're a funny hybrid profit nonprofit.
Oh, all right. So then there's really no excuse.
And you also have to face the reality that while people, if asked if privacy is concerned, they always say yes. But then they will always choose the thing that's convenient for them, regardless.
Well, yes, so long as I can watch, Netflix.
Right. A while ago, I watched a show. I can't remember exactly what cooking show it was, but they showed children how chicken nuggets were made, and they're all like, "Gross, disgusting!" And then at the very end, they're like, "All right, who wants chicken nuggets?" And all the kids are like, "I do."
Who wants some pink slime fried with breading?
I do. So there you are.
My children are 30% chicken nugget by volume, and I'm pretty sure that if you told them that they were made of Baby Yoda meat, they'd be all in.
I mean, they'd be sad. And they'd say, wow, do they really have to kill Baby Yoda to have delicious chicken?
Look, you wanted Yoda nugs, kids. You ordered McYodas.
McYodas. Oh, God.
All right, well, all right. The jokey thing, and Bates ain't here, but DeBona, you fly too much. You're supposed to let the slow passengers board first, Mr.
Sure.
Diamond Platinum HJ Elite.
And
now science has proven that that's the fastest way to board a plane.
So it's funny because, so on Delta, I'm Platinum, on United, I'm 1K. And so you always have like the truly, handicapped folks, the military, the left-handed monks from Nepal. They have like all these classes that board ahead of time. I think it's great. I'm like, let the slow people board, whatever,
It also helps though that you have access to like the fancy lounges
Sometimes, yeah, I do. I just
lounges make it much nicer.
I mean, inherently, since the airlines have started charging for checked bags, they've disincentivized people to check in and be patient for other human beings. So it became a status race, so I don't think there's a way through it. I think it's just going to be chaos. But I think, yeah, give some people more time. It's funny because, with the arm, this has been really driven home. Even when and we had, babies and we take on planes, and that takes longer. But I think people are just in a rush. They're at their worst at the airports too. There's so many assholes, that just get rubbed raw at the airport,
I mean, the solution to the problem, truthfully, is a privacy problem, right? Which is when you book your ticket, you should be able to say, here's the 10 reasons I should get to board first. And if you want to say that you get to board first because you're missing a leg or because you have some weird handy, you have to disclose a thing. And then they can punch that all into the system, and they could just have an algorithm say, all right, you board 307th. They could do that, and we would all board faster. But, you'd have to tell the airlines more than you want them to know.
Well, there's that. And there's also, people have a history. I mean, you saw this with Disney. Handicapped people would rent themselves out to families so they could have fast passes all the time at Disneyland.
Yep.
So instead of paying, $2,600 for a group of 8 to get VIP treatment at Disney, you would pay some person who's in a wheelchair, $400, and then they'd go around with you.
Yep.
That's absolutely disgusting. I love it.
It's the most Florida scam in Florida town.
Yep.
And people were also abusing the Asperger's kids thing. They had an Asperger's autistic kid program where they would because sometimes kids that far on the spectrum have a really hard time with the lines in certain rides, and so they would have programs to help these kids out, and it was freaking great. It was so humane, and of course people abused it in Florida, right? And they're like, I'm going to rent my kid's autistic. It's they'd have their kids say things that, or
come on, let's go rent us a Sheldon.
I don't think anyone's abused the Make-A-Wish thing yet, but that's coming.
Oh yeah.
Someone bribes their way onto the Make-A-Wish front of the line thing. People are terrible.
They
Can
really
I be
are.
honest with you? I want these people, once we identify them as being those people, they should be forced to board last or just not allowed in the airport at all.
See, but Debona, you can see
travel
that
by hitchhiking.
As somebody on the other side of 47, you can sort of you see the spectrum now. You've seen the worst, so now you have a perspective that the rest of us will one day achieve.
Well, it's funny. I remember the last time I was outraged at an airport by how I was being treated by security and security theater and all this stuff, right? And it was 10 years ago. I was going through security and I was pulled aside for a random surge, and I was like, burr, 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 burr. And I said to this old guy next to me, and I was like, another day of dignity at the airport. And he said, son, I had my entire colon removed and put out on a table in front of me, and I suffered through that shit for the last 15 years. None of this shit matters. And I'm like, that's a good perspective. Thanks, old man. I'm like, this stuff doesn't matter. None of this shit matters, So I got pulled aside and I got an involuntary back massage. It's fine. So I have a hard time getting outraged at the airport. And the thing about airports are like DMVs and post offices. There's always that person who really wants to rile the crowd up with their outrage. And I'm just like, just get in line. We're going to get on a plane and we're going to fly somewhere magically for 8 hours, and we're going to end up in jolly old damn England. Just shut the hell up and go sit down.
Yeah, really, the only thing that you can change when you want to board an airplane is you can make it take off later by causing trouble. Other than that, nothing that you individually do is going to get you to your destination any faster. So shut up.
And I've flown a lot, and I've met my share of flight attendants who probably shouldn't be in the job. But the number of people at the airport who are really there to be sadistic is 1 in a million. There's not a single flight attendant who wants to make your life hell. I mean, and maybe it's just easy for me to say because I'm like a white privileged guy, right? But I've yet to meet an air. I should say there have been during a couple of union actions, especially when before the Continental United merger, there was a union slowdown in United that was just like I avoided United for like half a year because I'm like I ain't getting in the middle of this, because it was just a disaster, right? And I think Americans going through that right now. But yeah, so.
Well, the last thing that we had on the list that's not airline related was more for you video game related people. There was a cool article about many games are being held together by duct tape. It's just, the story of, a 10, 15-year-old game gets released, the source code gets released and people pick through it. And guess what? Software is written by human beings. I can't imagine that you might have any experience with these sorts of matters.
Well, so we were doing a play test, I think it was yesterday or the day before, in Fractured Veil. And we have a very tall comm tower. And I wanted to go to the top of the comm tower, so I went to the bottom of the comm tower, and I hit the button to call the elevator, server crash. And they're like, oh yeah, that's been happening. And I'm like, that's been happening, huh? And it's not duct tape, it's just, there are so many connectivity.
Yeah, there's so many working parts that have to all work together.
Like when you call the elevator, it's got to call the elevator for every player in the world, throughout the entire world, and have that work in lockstep, So when the sound plays on your computer, it's going to play on their computers at the same time. It's going to track the mutants at the same time. It's like...
Well, I think the other thing, too, is that even a well-engineered system... one that you really thought through, once you build it and have actual human beings running through it, there's this little thing called playtesting, and you actually have to tweak things. And anytime that you some of those tweaks are going to be easy, and some of them are going to end up being ludicrously difficult engineering tasks. And you're at that point, you're looking at a deadline, at a ship date. The clock is a ticking, and you're going to make some bad duct tapey decisions.
Well, and the thing is also, if you have the luxury of having no customers, no clients, no money incoming, and no deadlines, you actually don't have a product, right? You hear people complaining about technical debt all the time in these environments, and I'm like, that means you have customers, right? That means you're actually doing well. You actually have to care about what somebody thinks of your software.
Yep.
It's like, because the alternative is nobody gives a shit,
Indeed. And on that exciting note, gentlemen, I'm going to put up the goodbye slide, which means I have to find the other keyboard. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
This has been another exciting episode of Geeks in Space. In fact, this has been episode 409 of Geeks in Space. I'd like to thank my guests, Chris DeBona.
Thank you. Is 409 Prime? I don't know that it is.
No. And RobRobChris Prime?
It is a prime number. That's exciting.
All right, let's celebrate our primeness.
Yeah.
With a Baby Yoda filled with chicken nuggets.
Delicious. All right, well, I'm gonna go eat me some Gleek ribs. I got a half a rack of Gleek.
Ew.
Gross.
So we have 10 episodes until the next Prime episode. That'll be 419. So.
All right, we'll put a thing in the calendar. Episode 419 is going to be way more epic than this. Smash the like button, subscribe, tell your friends we're cool. Bye.
Bye.
When you insert the extra